Why TBC? What's the deal? Now, I seen an article on this the other day, and then I just seen another article today about it, so I'm just going to speak on it. Miguel Cotto and his team's looking for an opponent. They're throwing around the name James Kirkland for a pay-per-view bout June 18th at the Barclays. I don't think it's a pay-per-view worthy fight, in my opinion. I hope it's not on pay-per-view. I just don't think, James Kirkland, well, both of these guys are coming off losses. Ironically, both to Canelo. We know Canelo and Cotto generated, what was it, 900,000 pay-per-view buys. So that was cool that fight was on pay-per-view, but I don't see why this fight should be on pay-per-view. Now, as far as the style breakdown of the fight, it's a fight that I would favor Miguel Cotto. James Kirkland is going to bring tenacity. He's going to bring relentlessness. He's going to bring a high work rate, high volume. He's going to bring all that to the table. His chin, he has shown in fights, in past fights, previous fights, that he will go down in the first round or two. Some fights he'll get back up and win off the mat. He makes for entertaining fights, but it's still not a pay-per-view fight, in my opinion. Even though it will be very entertaining, it's just, both guys coming off losses. Neither guy is a champion or in championship contention at this moment right now. I believe Cotto is rated highly by one of the sanctioning bodies. I believe the WBO. I'm not sure. I don't have the rankings in front of me, but it'd be an interesting fight nonetheless. But it's a fight that I think Cotto wins. I think he just has the better boxing ability, better skills, better defense. Kirkland's just too predictable. A lot of people think he's very chinny. I don't think he's chinny. He only has 2 knockout defeats. The knockout to Canelo, Canelo's a fast, hard puncher, man, and that's not that bad of a loss, to get knocked out by Canelo. Then his other knockout loss to Ishida. Ishida's a guy who's actually campaigning at heavyweight right now, and has been in his last few fights. He fought Kayatoro Fujimoto twice. 2 highly debatable fights, actually, but I think it'd be an entertaining fight. Nonetheless, though, with all that said, it'd be an entertaining fight. And if James Kirkland is clicking on all cylinders, if he's really on top of his game on fight night, he may be able to take Cotto's best and come forward and maybe try to stop him and maybe hurt Cotto. And if he hurts Cotto, I believe Kirkland probably can finish Cotto if he hurts him bad. But if you ask me who I'll put my money on, definitely Miguel Cotto. I think he'll make Kirkland miss. I think he can outbox him on his back foot. I think Cotto will hold when he needs to. I think Kirkland is just the bigger, stronger guy. I believe in between fights, Kirkland weighs up to damn near 200 pounds from what I've heard. People saying if he gets with Ann Wolf, he'll have a better shot at winning this fight. I think he'll probably have a better chance. I think him and Ann just click. There's just something about their I just think they click as fighter and trainer, man. I just think her training methods and him as a fighter and his attitude, both their attitudes, they just click as far as training. Now, I know they don't get along in some other different areas, but it seems like in their training and when she's is in his corner, it's a different James Kirkland, in my opinion. But nonetheless, James Kirkland will come to fight no matter what. I just think Ann gives him that extra push that he needs. But even with Ann Wolf, I don't see him winning this fight. Because defensively, his things that he lacks at defensively as far as moving his head enough. He can move his head, he just doesn't do it enough because he's so willing to just stand and trade and bang it out with you. He throws defense out of the window sometimes. Cotto, and Cotto has that same type of dogged attitude as Kirkland. Is just his more measured. He's just more measured with his aggression and better fundamentally. And I think Cotto has underrated power. But I think Cotto would mix it up. I think he'll mix it up. I think he'll counter James. I think he'll walk him on his back foot. I think he'll push James Kirkland back a few times, not necessarily physically, but just with the hand speed and the combinations. I think he'll make James go into retreat mode instead of James trying to counter and roll shots. I think he'll just put the high guard up and try to go in retreat mode. And I think Cotto would be able to pick him apart in that way too. But I see Cotto dominating this fight if it gets made. I give Kirkland a more than a puncher's chance because he's tough as hell too, man. If he starts putting a high volume together and pressure bust pipes. But I think Cotto can handle that pressure that Kirkland will be able to bring. But I don't think this fight should be on pay-per-view. I just don't. I don't see how this fight should be on pay-per-view. You know, but it's boxing. It's a business. I'm sure they will put it on pay-per-view nevertheless, and it'll just come down to, as a boxing fan, if you want to order the fight or not. You know what I mean? But as far as it being entertaining, I think it'll be entertaining while it lasts. You're going to have a guy in there that's trying to knock Miguel Cotto out, you know, and I guess it depends what Miguel Cotto chooses to do. Is he, you know, will he meet fire with fire? And Cotto's never been the type that'll run from a guy in the ring, you know, so I think Cotto just systematically and methodically just breaks James Kirkland down and wins this fight. Another fight I think that'd be interesting if they don't make this fight is, how about the Trout 2, the Trout rematch? I think that'd be a good fight. Both guys seem to have went in a different direction since they first initially met. You can probably argue Cotto has looked better in his fights than Trout has in his fights since they fought. Trout's went down, what, 4 times? He's hit the mat 4 times since the Cotto fight, lost a few fights. Cotto, you know, he lost to Alvarez, but it's a fight that a lot of fans, they think the fight was fought pretty evenly, although, you know, Alvarez won the decision. Cotto kind of had a resurgence after that loss to Trout, man. He went to middleweight and, you know, beat Martinez, you know, although not fighting at the full 160, you know, but still, he did beat Delvin Rodriguez. He's looked better of the two, in my opinion. Trout just hasn't looked the same, but it's a fight I think if he had to go into the fight with Cotto in a rematch, it's a fight I think Trout would be very confident, and I think he'll up his game up in training if he had this rematch. But I think that's a fight that they should be looking at. But rather than that, of course, I like to see Cotto in there with the, you know, the Charlos or the Andres or the Julian Williams of the division. I think all of those would be excellent fights. But Cotto and Kirkland pay-per-view, even Trout rematch, I don't really want to see those on pay-per-view. You know, I'm not sure about pay-per-view, but it is what it is. YTBC, I'm out.